Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. An 18-year-old has been named as the suspect in a shooting that killed 8 people and injured dozens more in British Columbia in Canada. Police say Jesse Van Rootselaar was found dead at the scene from a self-inflicted gunshot injury. The motive for the attack is not yet known. 6 people were killed and at least 25 others injured at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. 2 others, the suspect's mother, 39, and stepbrother, 11, were found dead at a nearby home. Authorities said Van Rootselaar was born a biological male but identified as a woman. The shooting at the nearby home occurred first, before the suspect went to the school. The victims at the school were a 39-year-old female educator, 3 female students, all aged 12, and 2 male students, one aged 12 and one aged 13.
Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation. We identified the suspect as they chose to be identified in public and in social media. I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female and identified as female both socially and publicly.
Votes are being counted in Bangladesh after its first election since student-led protests ousted the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in 2024. More than 2,000 candidates are vying for 350 seats in Parliament, though none from the banned Awami League of Hasina, who fled after 15 years in power after a brutal security crackdown in which hundreds of protesters were killed. Results are expected on Friday, and there's widespread hope among voters of a return to democracy. At least 31 people have died after a powerful cyclone struck Madagascar. Cyclone Gazani made landfall on Tuesday, hitting the island's main port. Madagascar's Disaster Management Office said there was total chaos, reporting that houses collapsed in the impact zone where bodies were found. Neighborhoods were plunged into darkness as power lines snapped, while trees were uprooted and roofs ripped off. The cyclone's landfall is likely to have been one of the most intense recorded around the city in the satellite area, according to the CMRS cyclone forecaster on France's Reunion Island. Chinese President Xi Jinping has made a rare public reference to a recent crackdown which saw the country's top military general removed. General Zhang Yuxia, who was widely seen as Xi's closest military ally, was removed from his post in January. He was accused of serious violations of discipline and law, typically a euphemism for corruption. Speaking in a virtual address, Xi said the past year had been unusual and extraordinary, adding that the army had undergone revolutionary tempering in the fight against corruption. Since coming to power, President Xi has launched waves of anti-corruption drives, which critics say have also been used as a tool to purge political rivals. Russia has attempted to fully block WhatsApp in the country, the company said, as the Kremlin continues to tighten restrictions on messaging apps. Meta-owned WhatsApp said the move aims to push more than 100 million of its app users in Russia to a state-owned surveillance app. This comes after Russian regulators faced further curbed access to Telegram, citing a lack of security. Telegram is estimated to have as many users as WhatsApp in Russia. Russia's communications regulator has made repeated warnings to WhatsApp to comply with local law. State-owned TASS Media reported earlier this year that WhatsApp is expected to be permanently blocked in the country in 2026. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has selected his daughter as his heir, South Korea's spy agency told lawmakers on Thursday. Little is known about Kim Joo-ae, who in recent months has been pictured beside her father in high-profile events like a visit to Beijing in September, her first known trip abroad. The National Intelligence Agency said it took a range of circumstances into account, including her increasingly prominent presence at official events, in making this assessment. The news comes as North Korea is set to hold a party congress later this month, its largest political event that is held once every 5 years. And after setting off from Texas more than 15 weeks ago, a band of Buddhist monks have completed their 2,000-mile walk for peace in Washington, D.C., often walking barefoot and through rain, snow and severe weather to bring awareness of peace, loving-kindness and compassion across America. The monks' journey captured the public imagination, with hundreds turning out to see them take their final steps. Their journey home is a little easier. The monks are getting a bus back to Texas, with only a short walk back to their monastery after arriving. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.